Oh, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's happening, man? I hope you guys are doing great today. I know my day's going pretty good, man. So what's going on? Well, check this out. Another video today, and I figured that I'm gonna get back on track with, we were the past few, I guess about the last month. I've been doing a lot of reading on the book, The Cosmic Power Within You, and sharing that with you guys. And we're almost done with that book, man. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to go ahead and get into the reading and see if we can't wrap it up. You know what I mean? See if this book doesn't have another message for somebody who needs to hear it. You know what I mean? It's been a very, very informative and inspirational book that I've been sharing with you guys, and it's got a lot of stories in there, man, that are encouraging to those people who need to hear it, encouraging for those people who perhaps are going through some sort of adversity, through some sort of obstacle in their life, their daily life. And it's great to listen to people's stories and to get insight, from other, people who are struggling, and kind of to share what they do, you know what I mean? And I'm just grateful that I'm able to share a story with you guys, right? So, but anyway, what we'll do is I'll read, and then we'll, do a little summary on it, and then, I may go into a little bit of where I figure that I might relate to the stories that we read, and then, we'll see. Hopefully that is some information that someone needs to hear today. A little word of encouragement, maybe something like that. And if not, it's always good to hear positive, encouraging things. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I guess what I'm gonna do is get to the reading. So if you would, before we get started, join me in a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers, and for those of us who are still bound down to some sort of struggle that keeps us bound down in our toxic world of today. So if you would, please join me in a moment of silence. God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. All right, man. Well, let's get going. I'm gonna put these things on so we can, so I can clean them up a little bit. They're kind of hazy looking, yeah. So we're gonna read that and see what we can get out of it. You know what I mean? There's always something encouraging in this book, man. It has been anyway. So here we go. What we're gonna do is read chapter 16, and chapter 16 is titled "How to Overcome Worry." Now, that's a pretty. A lot of people who couldn't use a little encouragement on that, right? I mean, I know a lot of people who worry all day long. Some of my family members are like that. All they do is worry, and I live a life of. We'll get into that after I read. What this book's got to say. So, chapter 16, How to Overcome Worry. It starts out by saying, prolonged worry robs you of a vitality, enthusiasm, and energy, and leaves you a physical and mental wreck. Psychosomatic physicians point out that the chronic worry is behind numerous diseases such as asthma, allergies, cardiac trouble, high blood pressure, and a host of other illnesses to mention. The worried mind is confused, divided, and is thinking aimlessly about a lot of things which are not true. Worry can be solved, however, by the application of the law of mind. Your problem is in your mind. You have a desire, the realization of which would solve your problem. But when you look at the conditions and circumstances as they are, a negative thought comes to your mind. And your desire is in conflict with your fear. Your worry is your mind's acceptance of the negative conditions. Realize that your desire is a gift of God telling you to rise higher in life, and that there is no power to challenge God. The living Spirit Almighty within you, then affirm to yourself, God, cosmic wisdom, gave me this desire, and the almighty power is now backing me up, revealing to me the perfect plan for its unfoldment, and I rest that conviction. When I fear or worry thoughts come to mind, remind yourself that God is bringing your desired ideal plan or purpose to pass in divine order. And continue in this attitude of mind until that day breaks and the shadows flee away. Goes on to say, recently I interviewed a businessman whose doctor told him that there was nothing wrong with him physically, but that he was suffering from anxiety neurosis, which simply means chronic worry. This man told me, every time I pray or think about success, prosperity, or greater wealth, I start to worry about money, my business, and the future. It's wearing me down. I am so tired. His vision of success and prosperity was thwarted by his chronic worry, and the fretting consumes his energy fruitlessly. The way he overcame his anxiety neurosis was as follows. He began to have quiet sessions with himself 3 or 4 times a day when he declared solemnly. And this is what he declared. He goes, but there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Job 32:8. This almighty power is within me, enabling me to do and do have. This wisdom and power of the Almighty back me up and enable me to fulfill all my goals. I think about the wisdom and power of the Almighty regularly and systematically, and no longer think about obstacles, delays, impediments, and failures. I know that thinking constantly along the line builds up my faith and confidence and increases my strength and poise. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Timothy 1:7. In about a month's time, this man arrived at the awareness of the strength, power, and intelligence where were divinely implanted in him at his birth. He has conquered his worries by partaking of the spiritual medicine of cosmic wisdom. Next story goes on to tell how a mother dispels her inner fears. A year ago, a disgruntled mother visited me saying that she was terribly worried about her son in Vietnam. I gave her a specific prayer to use and the morning to use in the night and morning for herself and for her son. Subsequently, her son returned from Vietnam. He married and settled down. And she again came back to see me just as worried as before. I reminded her that her problems had been solved, but that she was still worried. She was worried during the second visit that he may have married the wrong girl. However, she admitted that the girl was a wonderful wife. But she said all the time, I was so worried that her child might be born dead or crippled. But my daughter-in-law has given birth to a perfect child. The mother was then worried about a money shortage in her son's home. This woman was not really worried about what she thought she was worried about. Her actual difficulty was that she had an inward sense of insecurity and was emotionally immature. While talking to her, I was able to show her that she was the creator of her own fears, and she thereupon replaced her inner sense of insecurity with a real feeling of security. I wrote out a special prayer for her to use. And it goes like this. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall divide under the shadow of the Almighty. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High. This is my own mind. All the thoughts entertained by me conform to harmony, peace, and goodwill. My mind is the dwelling place of happiness, joy, and a deep sense of security. All the thoughts that enter my mind contribute to my joy, peace, and general welfare. I live, move, and have my being in the atmosphere of good fellowship, love, and unity. All the people that dwelleth in my mind are God's children, and I am at peace in my mind with all the members of my family and with all mankind. The same good I wish for myself, I wish for my son and his family. I am living in the house of God now. I claim peace and happiness, for I know I dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Goes on to say, she reiterated these truths frequently during the day, and these wonderful spiritual vibrations neutralized the disease-soaked worry center in her subconscious mind. She discovered that there were spiritual reserves on which she could call to annihilate the negative thoughts. As she saturated her mind with those wonderful spirits, verities, she became possessed by a faith in all things good. And she is now living in the joyous expectancy of the best. The next story is titled, A Practical and Workable Approach to Overcoming Anxiety. It says, a banker recently asked me to give him a simple practical prayer to overcome his anxiety. I suggested that every morning before the day's work, he be alone and identify himself mentally and emotionally with these truths. And the truths go like this. I live, move, and have my being in God. And God lives, moves, and has his being in me. I am immersed in the divine cosmic power which surrounds me, enfolds me, and enwraps me. My mind is God's mind, and my spirit is the Spirit of God. This infinite being within me is the only presence and the only power. It cannot be defeated, threatened, or frustrated in any way. It is all powerful and all wise, and it is present everywhere. As I unite mentally with this infinite power through my thoughts, I know I am greater than any problem. I grapple courageously with all difficulties and problems, knowing that they are divinely outmatched, and whatever strength, power, and creative ideas I need will automatically be given to me by the divine cosmic presence. I know the infinite lies stretched in smiling response within me, where all is bliss, harmony, and peace. I am now in tune with the infinite, and his wisdom, power, and intelligence become active and potent in my life. This is the law of my being, and I know God's peace fills my soul. This banker understood what he was doing and why he was doing it. He said to me, as I affirm these truths, I imagine they are falling down from my conscious to my subconscious mind, and by a process of spiritual osmosis through every atom of my being, every time I meet him in the bank, he tells me of some additional wonderful event in his life and those of his associates. He is calm, serene, poised, and balanced. He knows that the quiet mind gets things done. The next story is titled, How Fear of Auto Travel Was Conquered. A salesman had suffered a bad auto accident and was terribly worried every time he got into his car to drive through cities. I gave him a very simple technique, explaining to him that his mind could not contain two ideas simultaneously, i.e., he could not fear his journey and bless his trip at the same moment. Therefore, he had to supplement his worry with confidence and the sense of security. He begun to bless his car as follows. It says, my car is God's car. It is God's idea, and its creation came out of the one cosmic mind common to all individual men. This guides me and directs me in all my movements. Divine law and order govern me in my driving, and I go from town to town freely, joyously, and lovingly. I bless all other drivers on the road and wish for them all the blessings of life. I am an ambassador of God. I know that all the parts of my car are God's ideas and are functioning perfectly. I am always poised, serene, and calm. I am always alert, alive, and quickened by the Holy Spirit. This love surrounds me and goes before me, making straight, joyous, and perfect my way. I am always surrounded by the sacred circle of love. It is wonderful. During the past 3 years, he has not had an accident and he has received no citations or traffic violation tickets. He began to fill his mind with these truths and crowded out of his mind all worry, fear thoughts which had haunted him. He said, I made it a habit to use the prayer all the time I was on the road. I committed the whole thing to memory and knew the higher vibrations of my spiritual thoughts would wipe out the lower vibrations. This salesman is no longer worried or fearful. He knows that prayer changes things. The next story is titled, Your Invisible Partner. I was in a drugstore in Detroit, and the pharmacist invited me to come back to the counter where he showed me a sign over the prescription department. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Psalms 23:4. He added that his store had been robbed by gangsters 3 times and he had been held up twice with a gun pointed at his head. Following is the essence of his conversation. I think to that sentence of Psalms as it falls as blessings on my mind. I have taken God as my partner, and I claim many times during the day, God is my higher self, my senior partner. He guides me and watches over me. His power and wisdom are instantly available to me. I am not alone. Now I feel secure because I know God's circle of love surrounds the store, myself, and all my customers. This pharmacist met the problem of fear, anxiety, and worry, and he overcame it. During the past 4 years, he has had no trouble and has prospered beyond the fondest dreams. He realized that his worries were irrational thought, and he became a straight line thinker. The next story is titled, How a School Teacher Disposed of Worries. A school teacher told me that the way she overcomes all her worries is to take her worries apart. She holds them up to the light of reason, dissects them, and cuts them off into small pieces, and then she asks herself, are they real? Where do they come from? Do they have any power? Is there a principle behind them? With her cool, rational thoughts, she dismembers her worries and realizes that they are shadows in her mind, fallacious and illusionary. Her final summation is, I imagine an educated school teacher like myself worrying about shadows which have no reality. She concludes by laughing her fears away. The next story is titled, Emotional Spasms Needed. I sent a friend of mine to see a heart specialist as he worried that he had a bad heart. The specialist took a cardiogram and told him that his heart was normal and that his only problem was that he suffered from emotional spasms and seemed to be unreasonably obsessed with the idea that he had a bad heart. The doctor told him that he should artfully and subtly instill in his mind the contents of the 27th Psalm until he let go of his false idea. In a few weeks' time, he broke the spasmodic grip. He practiced the great law of substitution and repeating the good idea over and over again until the mind lays hold of the truth which sets you free and serene. The next story is titled, How Worry and High Blood Pressure Was Handled. A short while ago, a man with a seemingly well-adjusted and composed personality came to me. very worried and anxious because his personal doctor had told him his blood pressure was over 200 and that he should take it easy and relax more. He said to me, "I can't take it easy. I have too much to do, and the pressure of my organization is terrific." He was really suffering from a long mounting accumulation of petty frustration and worries. I expounded on the great truth that every fact of life is under the control and influence of the law of change. The old hymn says, "Change and decay all around I see. O thou who changeth not, abide with me." God changes not, and in the same yesterday, today, and forever, all conditions, circumstances, and events are subject to alteration. Every created thing will someday pass away. The age-old maxim, "This too shall pass away," is always true. I suggested that he begin to apply this truth to himself, that he could not be sick forever, that he was here to meet all problems and to overcome them, and that he was mentally, spiritually, and equipped to do so. The first step was that he had to abstract his attention from his ailment and business difficulties and trust the creative cosmic power within him. Which made his body to heal and to restore him. I gave him the following spiritual prescription to take in addition to the medicine which the doctor prescribed, accompanied with the suggestion that he was to assert absolutely and believe implicably the following truths. And it goes like this: periodically during the day, I withdraw my attention from the vexations and strifes of the world, and I return to God and commune with him. I know I am nourished spiritually and mentally, and God's peace floods my mind. God reveals to me the perfect solution and the perfect idea for every problem I meet. I reject the appearance of things, and I affirm the supremacy of the infinite power within me. I am absorbed and engrossed in the truth that God is guiding me with the divine right action reigns supreme. The miraculous healing cosmic power is flowing through me and permeating every atom of my being. His river of peace flows through my mind and heart, and I am relaxed, poised, serene, and calm. I know the God presence which made me is now restoring me to wholeness and perfection, and I give thanks for the healing which is taking place right now. By affirming regularly many times a day in this manner, he succeeded in retrieving his senses from the annoyance and irritations of the day. And in the month's time, a medical checkup revealed normal blood pressure. He discovered that his renewed mind restored his body to wholeness. When the strain of pressure of business tend to disturb him today, his motto is, "None of these things moves me." As he exalts cosmic wisdom and God in the midst of him, his problems have become correspondingly smaller and smaller. Nobody rubs him the wrong way or excites him, and he feels adequate through the power of God to solve all problems and to meet all challenges. He has revalued himself in terms of his inner spiritual powers. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills from which cometh my help. Psalms 121:1. The next story goes, a prayer to banish chronic worry. And this affirm daily and develop, and it says, a prayer to banish chronic worry, affirm daily with deep feeling. And the prayer goes like this: I have a new strong conviction of God's cosmic presence, which holds me spellbound, entranced, and unmoved, and I feel serene, confident, and unafraid. I know there is nothing to fear, nothing to draw away from, For God is all there is and is everywhere present. In him I live, move, and have my being. So I have no fear. God's envelope of love surrounds me, and his golden river of peace flows through me. All is well. I am not afraid of people, conditions, events, or circumstances, for God is with me. Faith in God fills my soul, and I have no fear. I dwell in the presence of God now and forevermore, and no fear can touch me. I am not afraid of the future, for God is with me. He is my dwelling place, and I am surrounded with the whole armor of God. God created me, and he sustains me. God's wisdom leads and guides me, so I cannot err. I now celebrate the conviction of God's presence because I know in my heart the great truth. Closer is he than breathing, never than hands and feet. And that, my friends, is chapter 16. Wow, what a great chapter. So let's talk about that a little bit, man. Gosh, it's funny because it's funny to me that this what they talk about is, it seems like it's always talking about when you need to revamp yourself, when you need to find clarity, when you need to find answers to an adversity, when you need to find answers to, a struggle that you're having. Perhaps it's in your relationship, perhaps it's in your job, perhaps it's just with everyday life. Where do I go from here? Maybe you're just one of those who right now is just in the middle of something, and you don't know which way to navigate your life. And it's just amazing how a lot of this research that I've been doing and a lot of these things that I've been reading with, and mind you, these folks that I gather this information from are credible people. You know what I mean? They've been studying these things for many years, and they've experienced things for many years, and that's how I share. You know what I mean? So I talk about things that I've researched and that I've experienced personally. And man, what really sticks out to me is the fact that they say if you want to tap into that cosmic power that you and I are gifted with, you have to just go and repetitively chant these affirmations, repetitively chant these prayers, repetitively sit in silence with yourself, and the divine cosmic powers and clarity will come if you do this on a repetitive basis. You know what I mean? It's talking about remapping your thought process. That's basically what it boils down to, because when you do something repetitively and allow your conscience to grab this information and let it enter into your subconscious mind, is where the magic happens, is where the healing happens, is where the chains of adversity are broken. It's where your mental thought process finds the clarity and the answers to the things that you're looking for. You know what I mean? And I'm just it's amazing to me that this book was written in 1968, man. You know what I mean? Go figure that. You know what I mean? In 1968, that Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote that book through things that he had been going through and experiencing, and the things that people were experiencing that he would talk to, giving them this clarity, this information of something that Dr. Murphy picked up from where I have no idea, but it's the same principles and thought process that the scientists of today, the neuroscientists, the physicists, the doctors, I mean, all these credible people of today are saying, this is how you do it. Do you want the law of attraction to happen, the manifestation of beautiful things into your life? What you got to do is you got to come into silence. You come into silence and you repetitively do the affirmation, the prayer, the chanting, because it's the vibrational thoughts of the things that come out of your subconscious mind are the ones that, those are the thoughts that you project out into the universe and into the realm of spirituality and divinity. And that is the stuff that boomerangs back to you, because you're in sync with your frequencies of Mother Earth and the divine power, that this is what you're going to pick up. This is what the universe is going to bring back to you, because it knows wholeheartedly that you emotionally and spiritually are with conviction asking for things that come into your life that are going to be positive, spiritual, and helpful. You know what I mean? And that's how it works. And I can relate to that, man, because, I mean, I've done many things in my life, experienced many adversities, and when I started practicing, working on those types of things, affirmating things, provisioning things, and doing these things on a repetitious basis in a silent mode through meditation and prayer and chanting, it works. You know what I mean? And things have been happening. You know what I mean? And my life is moving in a direction that I had no idea that I could do that. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful that I've been able, through experiences and through learning from other folks, that it works, and it's allowed me to get out of that negative thought process, that fearful thought process, that dark thought process, man. Because I know when I was there, when I had a thought process like that, man, my life just was terrible. You know what I mean? I just couldn't figure out, why is this happening to you? Why am I just this unlucky? Like, all these bad things happening to me, all these things happening to my family, and this and that. What the hell's wrong with it? Why am I getting dealt these life cards like that? What the heck? You know what I mean? And when I started living a life of connecting with the cosmic power of the divine power, it's been amazing. You know what I mean? And it's just been amazing, and I don't know how to explain it, except like that I know that I've been doing these things on a repetitive basis, and just things have been happening to me. Things have been coming into fruition. My life is just a totally 360-degree change from where it was a few years ago. You know what I mean? When I was just bound down to the world of addiction and darkness, it was terrible. But I'm just grateful that I'm able to share a story like that today, man. And I'm grateful that I was able to read you guys that stuff, because somebody might needed to hear that today. You know what I mean? I hope that you guys really enjoyed the stories, and I appreciate you guys watching my videos. And I guess we're gonna wrap it up for today, man. So I hope you guys are doing great, man. I really do. I hope you guys have a really good the rest of your day. And yeah, man, so God bless you guys, man. I'll be praying for you guys. And again, please, if you would, give me a thumbs up, shoot me a like, shoot me a comment if you'd like me to talk about something else or whatever. I'd be great. I'd be happy to do so. And if you would please hit that subscribe button, man. Just know that when you do hit that subscribe button, it doesn't cost you a thing, my brothers and sisters. But I tell you what, it's going to help another veteran, another homeless person, another person dealing with PTSDs, childhood traumatic experiences, drug addiction, alcoholism, suicidal thoughts, depression, sadness, anger, my friends, because I have dealt with all of those things at one point in time in my life, and I know that there's a way out. And that's the whole purpose of doing this video podcast, my brothers and sisters. So, yeah, so I really greatly appreciate you guys, man. So I guess until the next time, man, on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.